So in a CV generator, you actually need to go ahead and accept a few details from the user, like his name, his email, his phone number, his school, his university, his previous jobs, and all the details which you actually want for a proper CV. Now, in order to get those details and in order to store those details, you actually need to have a table in the database. And in order to create a table in the database, we first need to go ahead and create a model, which is nothing but a blueprint for our database. So let's go ahead and create a model now. So let's go to the models.py file, and in here we simply need to go ahead and set up a model, and that model should include all the fields which actually help us to collect the details of that specific user. So let's go ahead and create the model here. So I'll type in class, and in the CV we are actually going to place a person's profile. So let's name this class as profile. You can name it as anything, but I have named it as profile, and then it's going to inherit from models.model. And now the very first thing which we do is that we create all the fields. So obvious thing which we need to accept is we need to accept the candidate's name, and it's going to be models.car field, and the max length is going to be, let's say, 200. So we now need to go ahead and create a lot of fields over here. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and create a same field for email and for phone number. So let's replace this with email, and let's replace this with phone number. So I'll type in phone over here. And now let's go ahead and create a field which kind of gives us the information about the candidate. So let's say a field which resembles something like the about us section, wherein the candidate can actually write a few lines about himself. So let's go ahead and name this field as summary, and let's say this is going to be a text field, not the character field, because it's going to accept a lot of details. So this is going to be text field, and let's set the max length to 2000. So in here the candidate can actually write as much as he wants. And now let's go ahead and also create a field for degree, which is also going to have the max length as 200. Now let's create a field for school. Let's create the same one for university as well. And now let's go ahead and create one more text field for the previous roles, that is the places where the candidate has worked previously. So I'll type in previous underscore work, and this is going to be a text field. So I'll type in text field over here, and let's go ahead and add another text field down here, which is going to say something like skills, where the candidate can actually list out his skills. So I'll say something like skills, and let's say the max length of this is going to be 1000, and let's make the max length of this to be 1000 as well. Okay, so now once we have this model, we are pretty much good to go. So now in order to make a database table out of this model, we need to go ahead and make migrations. So let's go ahead and type in Python 3 manage.py make migrations, manage.py migrate, and yeah, everything is fine. Now we can just go ahead and we can check if this table is actually created in the backend. So let's go ahead and create a super user as well, in order to make sure that we do have the table created at the backend. So in order to create the super user, you simply type in Python 3 manage.py create super user, and now I'll have the username as my name itself. I'll add a dummy email address here. I'll set the password to super user, and now as you can see, the super user has been created. So now let's go ahead and run the server, log into the super user, and see if the table is actually created at the backend. So I'll type in Python 3 manage.py run server. Now let's actually open up the web browser, And now in here, let me just go ahead and go to 127.0.0.1:8000/admin, and this should actually be 127. Okay, so now let me just go ahead, log in. And now, as you can see, there's no model here because we are yet to register that model in the admin.py file. So let's go to admin.py file. So which is right here, and here import the model. So I'll type in from .models import, and the model is profile. And now let's go ahead and do admin.site.register and register the model, which is nothing but profile. And once we go ahead and do that, once we hit refresh, as you can see, we have profile over here. So now if I click over here, as you can see, we have no profile, but when I click on this add option, as you can see, we have these fields which are going to actually allow us to enter all the details and save all the details of the candidate. Now this is quite okay for an admin, but we actually want to go ahead and make an interface for the end user so that he can actually submit this data via a form, and that data gets submitted to the backend. So now we need to actually go ahead and create a form to accept all the user data and store it over here in the backend. So in the next lecture, we will go ahead and create a simple form, and we won't be actually using Django forms, but instead we will use a normal form, and we will use the post method to actually save the form data. So in the next lecture, let's go ahead and create a form for the user to fill out this data right over here. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.